Welcome back to Soul Knowledge. You have joined us at Season 3, and we kick the season off by discussing one of the most requested sneaker stories of all from a lot of you, and that is the Air Jordan 1. In this episode, we find out how it got its nickname, the Band, and also we find out about a contrary story which suggests that in actual fact that there was a different shoe which should have been nicknamed the Band and not this one. I look forward to sharing it with you, and there's so much that we're going to be uncovering in this episode and the rest of the season. Welcome back to Soul Knowledge. Let's get into it. This is Soul Knowledge, the home of the sneaker story and the home of sports culture insights. I'm your host, Bernie Wickham, and I am the sneaker evangelist. If you joined the channel for the first time, welcome to it. There are 14 other episodes preceding this one, packed with sneaker stories and insights. At the end of every episode, we reveal something called One Sneaker in 1 second, where we show a fraction of a sneaker very briefly, and it's up for you to try to identify it. Our story starts in 1985 when Nike releases an advertisement saying that these shoes, the Air Jordan 1, were not compliant with the NBA's rules of uniformity. This is what the ad looks like.
On September 15th, Nike created a revolutionary new basketball shoe. On October 18th, the NBA threw them out of the game. Fortunately, the NBA can't stop you from wearing them. Air Jordans from Nike.
With me is the letter which the NBA wrote to Nike about this violation, and it reads as follows. At the attention to Mr. Rob Strasser, the Vice President. Gentlemen, in accordance with our conversation, this will confirm and verify that the National Basketball Association rules and procedures prohibits the wearing of a certain red and black Nike basketball shoes by Chicago Bulls player Michael Jordan on or around the 18th of October 1984. Now the story also goes on to say that every single time that Michael Jordan would be wearing these shoes, he would be fined $5,000. That's how it goes. Now, in order to understand how we got here, we've got to go a little bit back in time, starting at the University of Northern Carolina, where Michael Jordan was playing basketball for them. Now, at that point in time, he was playing in a pair of Converse Pro Leathers. That was his shoe of choice. And as Jordan saw his career elevating and that people could actually pay him a lot of money for wearing the shoes, he decided to approach Converse to endorse his skill set. The problem with Converse at that point in time was that they already had 3 superstars that they were looking after, paying them about $100,000 a year. That was Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, and Dr. J. The other guys that Jordan was interested in was Adi, but in his engagement with Adi, nothing really ignited. That left the door open for Nike. They pitched the world to Michael. They said, we will give you a line called Air Jordan. We will give you your own shoe, your own clothing line. We will offer you $500,000 for 5 years. This is the deal. Before accepting it, Jordan actually took the deal to Adi and said, can you beat this? No response from Adi, so the deal was signed with Nike. Now the designer of the Air Jordan 1, Peter Moore, sits with Michael and he asks him, what are you looking for in a pair of shoes? And he says, I want something different. I want something exciting. And I want something that is a low profile for basketball shoes. He wanted to actually feel the court under his feet. And this was something that he really enjoyed about the Converse Pro Leathers, if you can recall. Now, Peter Moore also, on a flight, one day saw an air hostess hand a young flyer one of those winged lapel badges that they give to young flyers. When Moore had seen that, he had looked at the idea of it and he had actually modified it with a basketball to create what was the first Air Jordan logo. And the brand Air Jordan was subsequently born, because not only that, the shoe also contains an air unit for cushioning, which was Nike's revolutionary cushioning system at that point in time. This is where the story gets hairy. Nike is under time pressure to deliver their latest commodity of Michael Jordan to the marketplace. And in doing so, they create two colorways, a home and away version of the shoe. In the photography that you can see done in the apparel catalog in the build up to the product, you can see that the black red or the BRED is one of the colors shot in the apparel catalog, and the other color is referred to as the black toe. Chuck Kuhn, the photographer, also shoots Michael Jordan doing what is now the iconic Jumpman shot in the black toe version of the shoe as well. But because these were prototypes, Michael Jordan didn't actually play in them. They were not yet ready for him. So in the interim, they gave him a different shoe to play in called the Air Ships. Now at that point in time, TVs were not high definition. People couldn't actually tell the difference between what he was wearing in the prototypes and what he was actually wearing on the courts, because the shoes looked similar enough. But with today's sneakerheads, I mean, the guys can just pick up the differences very, very quickly. And also with not having high definition, nobody knew that the shoes that he was playing in was actually the Air Ship and not the Air Jordan. And it is in actual fact, it is the Air Ship in black red that he played in that the NBA gave the red flag to and says, you cannot wear those shoes. Nike's response to this is pure poetry. They put into action probably one of my favorite business lessons of all time, and that is never let a good crisis go to waste. They meet up with the advertising agency, they create the band ad, and they make a message that says, the NBA does not want Michael Jordan to play in it, but it cannot stop you. What magic. The shoe sells out instantly, and it just solidifies the shoe as a means of popular culture because it takes it from the courts onto the streets where the rebels can now wear it. It's magic. Nike does respond to the NBA's ruling by creating a color that is a bit more palatable, and that was the Chicago colorway. This was actually the first ever Air Jordan 1 that Michael Jordan actually plays in. It is the Chicago colorway. But just remember, it is not the launch colorway of the shoe. This was the first color available to the retail market. This, in actual fact, is the OG of the Air Jordan piece. The Chicago, as iconic as it was the shoe he actually first played in out of the lot. So just as a side note, I would like to share these with you. This is actually a collaboration between Randy Bowen from Bowen Designs and Brand Jordan. He's actually done miniatures of the Air Jordan 1. If you'd have a look at that, still in box, this is the BRED colorway. And over here, this is the Chicago colorway. Both of these hand-painted, beautiful detail on it. They look worn. And they're actually part of a collection of 12 pieces collectively that Bowen had done. Beyond the figurines, you would have also noticed, creeping into a bit of pop culture, is Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse. And in this picture, you would be able to see that Miles Morales is wearing a pair of Air Jordan 1 Chicagos, whether it be in his school uniform or even in his spider suit. So you know what you're looking out for, one of the most iconic in the animated world and also one of the most iconic in the footwear world, just sharing a moment together on the screen, which is quite cool. Let me end things off by saying that Michael Jordan has actually never been seen playing an NBA game in the black-red colorway. The only time that he was actually photographed wearing the black reds was in the slam dunk competition within the same year. But the truth is, it doesn't matter. I don't particularly care. I respect Nike's hustle. I respect how it's gone down. And I want to ask you, what do you truly think of it? Does it actually matter to you? Do you believe it's deception? Or do you believe that, you know what, you got to do what you got to do? And that's how I want to conclude this week. Thank you so much for watching. It's been special. And I look forward to you guys giving a lot of good feedback on what's going to be happening in the next couple of weeks. Soul knowledge.